All right, awesome. So excited to be here, everybody. We are back at it Monday night. Lightworker Secret to Success. We have the pleasure of having Lisa Gall with us today. We are interviewing her, and she's one of our newest members at an online community that we are all a part of, Global Strong. And I wanted to kind of showcase her and put her in the spotlight on some of the wonderful things that she's doing in the world, and talk about her passions and her obsession with CBD. And so a little bit about Lisa. She has a couple different companies that she runs. One is Heart to Hemp, and they have CBD oils, gummies, uh, topicals, and teas, and even pet products. So the other thing she has is called Nature Break Wellness, where they have lotions and soaps, and that is from the Comfort Seeker. She also, in her spare time, works part-time as a healthcare quality specialist. So thank you, Lisa, so much. Welcome, welcome. And I wanted to introduce you. I'm so bad at introductions. I'm so sorry. So we have Adam, right? So we have Adam, Rebecca, and Pamela. And we have another gal that's with us, and she's not able to be here with us today, but I just wanted to introduce you to everybody. Guys, this is Lisa. I don't know if everyone's had a chance to meet her yet, but she's one of the newest people in my roundtable. So it's really exciting. And she has really great ideas, and just a really go-getter. So I wanted to get her on our channel, get her exposed, get her out there, and so that she can help other people. So Lisa, tell us, what is your most favorite thing to do?
What is my most favorite thing to do? I'm an innovator.
Yes.
I like thinking about things and making it come to action and fruition.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also very deeply, I'm a nurse and by background, a nurse practitioner, and I've always been deep into so. And I've always had a yearning for technology. So what I love, but I also like myself, my inquisitive natures, and along my journey, experienced many areas of healthcare as a nurse, and then a nurse practitioner, and ER, and care, and then all quality. And so I work in national area, and so I can bring that together with my passion for hemp and CBD, because about 5 years ago, my family had needs, and myself, and so we really, I did some investigating, and, lo and behold, after some trips to several states, learned a lot about hemp and CBD. And so I felt very passionate that we really, excuse me, needed quality products. And by somebody, some trusted source. And I thought, well, who better than me? So that's what I like to do, is to create things. And I made it happen about 3 years ago and opened my company. That said, I live in a small rural town in central Minnesota. I have great products, and I'm keeping above ground, and I've got some things spinning in the air, actually, since outside of the US now for samples. And we're hoping soon.
Nice. I know that you want to start selling things online. Are you really pushing for that, to have like an online market?
I have an online store. I would love to have customers in my online store to look at all my soap products. We have 40 fragrances are now on the store, but they're on my hemp CBD site.
Nice.
So they
I think you're cutting out a little bit, Lisa.
okay.
There.
I don't know why. So yes, my hemp CBD store at Heart to Hemp is hosting the soaps, the 40 fragrances of soaps, and lotions in different scents and fragrances. And I have one called Heavenly, and it is heavenly. I just took some up to Crystal.
Oh, good. That's nice of you. Tell us a little bit about your teas. How do those work?
So the teas are made from Minnesota grown organic hemp. I have decontaminated those teas to make sure that they're safe for consumption.
Mhm.
I've had some help from our Minnesota Ag Department on how to do so. And so they are working with me a little bit on developing products that we can anyway, and safely and legally, because in Minnesota we we don't have THC as a recreational, but we have hemp and we have ag license. I have an ag license for as an extractor, and
Mhm.
so I get the Minnesota grown hemp from organic farms here in Minnesota.
Mhm.
And this particular batch is a cherry, and it's very flavorful
Mm.
in a tea.
Oh.
And I mix it with other tea varieties. So I have a hibiscus berry, raspberry green, etc.
Mhm. Mm. Sounds delicious.
They are
What's your favorite?
lemon ginger with
I probably
the
like that one too.
cherry hemp. Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm.
Wow. Well, I know a lot about CBD and hemp. I've used it for quite a while, but for our viewers that don't know much about it, what are the benefits of using CBD daily and to stay and keep healthy?
So generally, people who are suffering from moderate to severe pain, any stiffness, arthritis, neuropathy, sleep disorders, stress, anxiety, phobias, even, like social phobias, panic disorders, depression, poor energy, difficulty focusing or concentrating, all the above.
I can tell you a little story, Lisa. When I started taking CBD oil, I took it, and when you're started to take it, like you don't really notice when you're feeling better. You only complain when you're in pain. And I didn't take it for pain, but I didn't have a gallbladder, um, and I did have some like side effects of that. The other thing is it made me so calm. So like after I went to like this seminar, this convention in Dallas, Texas, and we were like talking to everybody like, well, what was it doing for you? What was it doing for you? And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, well, actually, I haven't had a headache lately because I used to get migraines all the time. And like, I've actually been pretty calm. Actually, I was like, my stomach hasn't been hurting, like all these things that were like now just finally like coming to, the forefront. And I remember I was talking to my son on the phone, and it totally changed our entire relationship because I used to be very reactive when he'd call me like yelling and freaking out. And then the CBD oil allowed me just to sit and listen. And he's like, Mom? I'm like, yeah. He's like, are you even there? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, you're not saying anything. And I'm like, I'm just listening. And he's like, all right, bye. And he just like hung up because he didn't have that reaction like I would normally like freak out or whatever. So I told him like, well, I'm taking CBD oil. And he goes, yeah, I can totally tell. I'm like, what do you mean you can totally tell? He's like, yeah, you're just much more calmer. I'm like, oh, I didn't think I was like not very calm before, but it really
You know,
did help.
that's a really good point, because when couples come in together, I like to counsel them to just kind of watch each other and make note. And because you don't always, I ask people if they're self-aware.
Hmm.
And because some people who aren't real self-aware won't notice that difference.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. So I'm going to open it up to everybody else because I can ask all the questions all day long. Adam, you want to ask?
I did have a question. So, Lisa, what are some misconceptions of CBD products that people sometimes have?
Misconception, the most common is the stigma associated with cannabis, and that it's a drug. And when people say, "Oh, they're selling," I live in a small town, like I said, and the first time I sat in our community park, our Oktoberfest celebration, it's a German community. Um, some ladies walked by and they said, "What are they doing selling drugs by the playground?" And
Mhm.
I said, "Excuse me, but this is a green leafy vegetable. It's not a drug." And no, actually they didn't. They kind of went by, and I wasn't gonna go grab them, out of the crowd. And then when they came back, I explained that. as a green leafy vegetable.
Yeah.
And they came back out of curiosity because they couldn't believe it. And so I was very much, excuse me, hang on. So I was kind of, I had the opportunity, I take those opportunities to try to teach people about hemp and CBD.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it's all about education, right? And so I know for me, like, I always growing up through high school, I mean, there was some rappers that were around that said they're going to legalize cannabis and they're going to get it going. And I was always like, you're never going to be able to legalize it. Like, it's too much of a drug. And that was my biggest thing, is that, people used it to get high, which, I mean, I get it. You do get high from it, and there are ways to. But the way that it's being used now, the healing properties that are behind it, I think, are just so magnificent and so good. And there's just a lot of misconceptions around, even, are there any side effects that someone could experience while taking it?
From my products, very minimal. I serve a lot of elderly customers. And I have had one or two calls from elderly persons who have been taking their blood pressure medications at the same dose and a little lightheadedness. That is the most I've ever seen out of as a side effect. Because I do have customers also who have long-term medical complications like blood pressure and diabetes, and most of them are reporting decreases in their numbers. And I do make them aware, if they're on those types of medications, that they should be notifying their clinician that it could require a decreased dose if it does bring those numbers down.
Okay, awesome.
And
Well,
really important on how you bring that forth to them.
mm-hmm.
Because of legalities and things like that. And, I can't really say it's going to bring your blood pressure down because we don't have clinical evidence that says that. At least that's up to par with the standards in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yeah.
And what are the active ingredients? Is it the THC and there's something else too? I don't quite know all the adjectives.
So the CBD stands for excuse me, cannabidiol. It's a long word. It's one of the cannabinoids that are in the hemp plant. So in Minnesota, we can only use hemp plants. If CBD is obtained from a marijuana plant, so there's two cannabis plants, there's a hemp plant and a marijuana plant. So if it's obtained from the marijuana plant, it is federally illegal to obtain and sell from a marijuana plant. It must be derived from a hemp plant in order for CBD to be legal.
Okay.
That said, there are no record-keeping requirements in the market. And so people who are selling CBD products may have some marijuana derived. It may be, the THC may be extracted out of it. It's really hard to tell unless we have a tracking system for that. So that's a really good question. But a true hemp plant in Minnesota, across the nation, is not a hemp plant unless it has 0.3% or less THC in the dried plant product. And then when you have a final product, of course, it gets extracted down, but then when you have a final product, it needs to be at that same level in the final product of 0.3% or less THC. Mm-hmm. If you have some THC of 0.3% or less, it is a full spectrum hemp, which has all of the should have all of the original cannabinoids in with it, and nothing has been extracted or processed out of it. If you have THC that has been remediated, out of that product completely, then you have a broad spectrum hemp product. And both of them have a wide spectrum of other cannabinoids besides CBD, like CBG is cannabis, can't think of the name of it, but there's CBN, CBC, and a lot of other cannabinoids that are parts of the hemp and marijuana plant. But just that THC is dominant in marijuana, CBD, and hemp. But the other cannabinoids all work together in our systems, in our endocannabinoid system. We actually have a body system that absorbs these components of the plant, and it helps our body's cells to work better together. And when they're working together in the whole plant, then it's a synergistic effect, and you need less of it.
One thing I always say is that it takes you from fight or flight to parasympathetic. And that's where you need to be when you want to have that divine connection with your creator, is being that parasympathetic. And I think it really, truly allows you to be in that space.
All the synapses are connecting a lot easier. You know, your body is communicating with itself a lot easier with the parts of the hemp plant, in which we have a system in our body that accepts them. So it's like crazy. You know, the more I learned about this plant, the more TO'd I got, because it was like, why did they make this plant go away? Mm-hmm. And it was, you know, big pharma. I shouldn't blame big pharma, but it, you know, it was political, it was pharma, racism, it was a lot of reasons. But it's interesting, to say the least, when you read the history of cannabis, and its healing powers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm glad that it's back out now and we're able to use it.
It's here to stay. I think, I believe I've even had clinicians ask me, because I'm a clinician by background, and you know, there's still naivety and lack of knowledge, not by their fault, but by our government's fault and the world's fault, in restraining some of the learnings that are happening in cannabis. But somebody asked me, well, that's just a phase. It's just going to go away. And I'm thinking, oh, no. This is a very good, healthy plant.
Well, not only is it consumable, but they also are making T-shirts and clothing out of it now. They're also making hemp fuel, which is really good for the environment. They're also making hemp concrete, which is stronger, 3 times stronger than concrete, and more pliable and more breathable than concrete is right now. And it's a very natural substance. They're also making hemp wood too, which again is better than wood. And they can grow a plant 3 to 4 times a year from seed to mature plant, where a tree takes 25 to 50 years to regrow. And so there's just so many more benefits that the hemp plants have.
Yes.
In so many industries that could like change things in the next 5 to 10 years on how we construct the clothes that we wear. And the people that have hemp clothing, they'll tell you it's like the best feeling ever. Like it's just your body just reacts so much differently to it, and you're constantly getting that positive vibrations off of these clothes.
Good point.
And it's very good for the environment. It sucks out CO2. It cleanses our earth. Mother Earth loves it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think you're just going to see massive farms, even like of the corn industry, just revolutionize. I was even reading an article recently that they found a way to grow hemp plants in the wintertime, so that it would, in the middle of winter through a snowstorm, it would keep growing and they could keep cutting it. So, I mean, the technology is coming fast in the hemp industry, and it's really, really exciting.
I find that hard to believe in Minnesota when it gets 40 below zero.
I was reading the article and I was shocked, but they said that they figured out the genome code in it, and that they could grow it in frigid temperatures still. It would still grow. So cool. That's exciting. What does THC stand for? What does that actually do? Like, is that the part that makes people high or feel?
What it stands for? Tetrahydrocannabinoid.
Okay, interesting. I never knew. I only heard the letters. I just didn't know.
It's a delta 9. part of it.
Okay.
So the THC is sparked out into, it's a component, but then you have Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, and we're finding now that the Delta 8s and the Delta 10s of the cannabinoid plant are can produce a euphoria without causing mental impairment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the big deal is. And there's been some recent legislation on that to say it is part of the hemp plant. I mean, they can't take away the other parts of the hemp plant other than the one part that a pharmaceutical company has claimed is CBD.
Mm-hmm.
And so thus they can't claim a plant, but they can, I don't know. It will find that out in the years to come, I believe. Who owns what of that plant, and can they own a plant part?
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's synthetically produced, we don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. They can't. Well, you can't own something that's made in nature. That's part of the laws, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you
So-
believe that
so-
a lot of people are awakening to the benefits of cannabis and CBD and the health properties?
From 2 years ago when there were events until this year's events,
Mhm.
people, instead of shying away and looking the other way and embarrassment, are now looking and seeking information. And I
Mhm.
find that young children and teenagers and young adults,
Mhm.
they're with their parents or aunts or whoever, are
Mhm.
saying, come look at this, look at, or, they're intrigued by something, and start looking and start asking questions. And so it's very interesting. So yeah, it's starting to, the ice is starting to come loose.
Mhm. Yeah. Pamela, did you have any questions, or Rebecca, did you have any questions for Lisa?
I actually had a couple. I'm interested when you talked about the teas. So do you sell like your teas are pre-measured in tea bags, or are they loose leaf?
I sell them in tea bags. I put them together, and that's how my packages sell.
Okay.
I don't have a large market, so I try to, I just do production at a small scale at this
Mhm.
time.
Okay,
Nice.
so I'll have to check in that because I do everything I do is usually loose leaf, but I might consider just trying to see what the difference is because I make blend my own different loose leaf teas. But I'd be
Uh-huh.
interested in trying some of yours just to see what's
Yeah,
like.
I'm happy to collaborate with you if you want to, you send me an email or.
I've got your number. I've talked to you before.
Okay.
I'm the one who helped you get registered with Crystal and everything.
Oh,
So,
yes,
but-
yes.
So yeah, I can reach out to you later.
I'm on my cell phone, and my glasses are on top of my head, but
So
now,
yeah, definitely reach out.
See it
okay,
now.
yeah, and I'd be happy to send you some samples.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know I've tried a couple of CBD oils. In fact, I've got some right here that somebody referred to us because they said they're really, really good. I never liked them because to me they tasted like dirt.
Oh.
So
The taste
it's like,
is a big thing. So Lisa, how do your oils taste? Because I know it's a
Okay.
big thing.
It is. And those who are naive to hemp are going to be more sensitive to the taste of my full spectrum hemp that I have right now. There is processes that clear out the remaining of the plant, like the phenols and the waxes and stuff, and that's what and the chlorophyll. The chlorophyll is what causes the bitter taste.
Mm.
And so when you leave the chlorophyll behind without filtering it, you have a very bitter tasting plant.
Mhm.
And so I did buy my first batch of isolate was a broad spectrum filtered isolates so that it does not have taste. So
Mhm.
you kind of really need to know what you're buying
Mhm.
and what to ask for.
Mhm.
And I don't know, a lot of people who are starting out don't know that difference in the isolate versus a full and broad spectrum. And even those that do, it's cheaper to go with the fuller, broader, unfiltered product, of course. And so,
good to know.
yeah. It's not bad for you. It's just bitter tasting. It's actually fairly healthy for you. And then also there's the carrier effect of whatever oil they're putting it into, which one is going to help it carry to the cells better. And so
Right.
there is a difference in the carrier oil, and I use MCT oil in mine, which is
Yeah,
a
and I don't know what they use. I've got 3 different bottles that we ordered, and it's Bluebird's a brand, and I think I've had them for over a year, and I've done some of it, but it was like I couldn't get past the test.
you might as well drink water. No, I didn't mean to slam them.
No, but I do. I mean, having dealt with essential oils myself, I do get that the quality, the purity of the product makes a huge difference. And just like with essential oils, there's a lot of things out there that they can say they're 100% organic. Well, kerosene's organic. That doesn't mean it's good for you.
Right.
Correct. And organic means, to me, I sell organic tea. That doesn't mean that I should go out and sell it if it had bird poop on it, for people to consume.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a way to sanitize it so that they're not getting sick, so yeah. Or, but yes, you do have to be careful what you get, and you don't really know yet because it is an unregulated gray market at best.
Mm-hmm.
So it started in the black market, and and we have that to thank, is that there's been some history to put some quality, and the industry needs to just and we are trying to step forward to put quality in products, but not everybody is doing that. Everybody, there's a lot of snakes in the grass.
Mm-hmm.
As with anything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you for answering my questions.
Yeah. Okay. Rebecca, did you have any questions?
No, I've never really understood it that well, because I've heard of several people that I know secondhand around here that battled really bad cancers, but I think they were using some sort of powerful marijuana oil that they were ingesting. And one I heard went from stage 4 to remission, and the other one added several years to his life. He had a brain tumor.
So what you're talking about is the RSO oil, the Rick Simpson oil.
Right. That's familiar. Rick Simpson. Yeah, that's what they would do. Yeah, and they got tremendous results. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are studies available. They just weren't double-blinded studies. These were a bunch of people just doing good.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's legal in Massachusetts. Yeah. I guess it's not legal where you live to sell marijuana.
It is not, but I have I am working with a company in California where they are the THC company and I'm the CBD company. So we are looking at developing a therapeutic brand for hospice patients.
Nice.
And so we're hoping to get some clinical studies from that and start forging forward on some clinical studies in hospice with some physicians and other clinicians on board.
That's great.
That would replace morphine?
Not necessarily
replacing, but add in addition to, correct?
In addition, or an alternative, if you will. It's a tool in the toolkit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be nice.
And so then if you, instead of just having the THC, which they sell in many states as just straight THC, based on the percentage of THC, we're going to have CBD plus THC.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for being here and giving us all your wisdom and sharing your products with us. And I'm sure we'll all want to try some. So
just let me know.
Yes. And then let us know about your website. So we'll put it into our the description of this YouTube, and we can share it. You can share it with your friends, and we'll share it on all of our social media sites. So thank you again so much. And thank you to our audience for being here and listening to Lisa Gall about all her amazing products. And I hope you have a chance to reach out to her and buy some of her really good products. So,
And we're at heart2hemp.co.
okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to our Facebook or our YouTube channel. And we're here every Monday. So we will see you next Monday.